Now, in kids, because 70 to 80% of the immune system sits in the gut, we have to start with food. And I will tell you that it is the easiest thing to adjust and the hardest thing for parents to do. And the reason I say it's the easiest thing to adjust is because it brings you the greatest change. And what you get met with is, no, I can't remove that. My kid likes that. My kid has to have that. No, he needs that. And you're not dealing with need there, you're dealing with addiction. And you're dealing with a lack of real parenting, where it's the parent's choice to do what's in the best interest of the child, not what the child wants. Oh, but he'll feel badly if I take away that food. Well, he'll feel badly if you keep the food. So which one do you want to work with? And so it becomes a little bit of a stress when you finally identify what are the factors coming into the body that create the inflammation, that create the wastes. Because even if you're eating pure foods, you're still going to create wastes, because the digestion of pure foods, or the digestion of pure material coming into your head, into your heart, into your mind, on your skin, there's still a byproduct of that that's going to create wastes. So the goal is really to look at the load and, more importantly, the sensitization. Now, children who've been vaccinated are almost always sensitized to food. That's just the way it is, because there are food proteins in the vaccines. And there's enough of what's called an adjuvant effect, or a catalyst effect, in the immune system for the immune system to see those foods and mount an immune response against them. And so when you eat those foods, you're going to have an adverse reaction. And so even if it's a little bit, this is what I mean by you don't have to have a lot, and yet you're sensitized. Mm-hmm. You can develop an inflammatory reaction. And the purpose of the body, if anybody ignored everything I just said because it was too long, too complicated, whatever, the purpose of the body is to get rid of wastes. That's why we exhale. That's why we urinate. That's why we poop. That's why we sweat and smell. That's why we sleep. That's why we exercise. That's why we scream and yell and do whatever we do to expel material out of our body. And so you'll have a much easier time getting the material out without symptoms if you can be diligent and aware of how the materials are coming in that create the wastes and the inflammation. Now, what I meant by that cycling of material that keeps flicking the immune system, sometimes that's the gut, because there are microbiomes, there are bacteria, there are viruses, there are fungi, there are parasites that are fed by what we're eating and what we're taking as supplements and medication. But they're also fed by the toxins and the pesticides and the wastes and the vaccine materials that perpetuate in the body nonstop. And so it really requires a holistic perspective. I first start with the diet, but I'm also going to look at the sleep. Because that is, how does the body take care of itself at night? I'm going to look at the supplements, the medications. I'm going to look at the emotional side of the child. I've seen kids where if I change their diet, their asthma got better. If I changed their supplements and medications, their asthma got better. If I sent them to a chiropractor, their asthma got better. If I sent them to an acupuncturist who did Chinese medicine and herbs, their asthma got better. If they gave them supplements and nutraceuticals, their asthma got better. So every child will respond to different approaches on how to understand what is going to help them. And for some kids, changing their emotional environment, adapting, talking to the parents about understanding a child's development and what a child needs. And are you listening and connecting to what the child needs and what kind of stress that puts on the child? And so I'm looking at the air, I'm looking at the food, I'm looking at the skincare products, I'm looking at the nervous system, the electromagnetic radiation, the Wi-Fi. I'm looking at, do you get fresh air? Do you not get fresh air? Are you exposed to positive ions? Are you exposed to negative ions? And what are you injecting into the body? And so that's a tall order. And I call it peeling the onion, because you have to start with the thing that's most obvious, that's creating the most wastes to begin with. And then you peel the onion and go next layer, next layer, next layer.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that all you need is to take something and you'll get better. And I don't support that approach. I'm sure it might work for some people. But to me, if you're going to look at the root cause, you need to understand how the body's working and how the body's not working, and what are the stressors that are coming in at any one of those 5 entries that are going to make the changes that you want to see in the child's health.